Welcome to the Blessed Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Raquel Tosin, and I'm here to help you to realize just how blessed you are in the midst of the coronavirus and everything else that's going on, being quarantined. You are still blessed because blessed is about our mindset and not about what's going on in the world. Let me just let you know that I am broadcasting on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network, a nonprofit charitable organization that has a mission to empower, encourage, and educate. If you are enjoying the Blessed Podcast, please donate at www.wytv7.org. Oh, and I forgot. Let me give you my disclaimers. I'm a God-worshiping, Jesus-loving, Bible-believing, New Thought Christian who believes that God blesses us according to our faith and how we work his principles. So if you are ready to be entertained, to be enlightened, and to be encouraged, you are in the right place. This month, the broadcast is sponsored by Tosin's Publishing. And guess what? We have a new book coming out. You can pre-order the Ren's Affirmations. God is good and so am I. If you go to www.raqueltosin.com or you can go to tosinbooks.com/shop so you can pre-order Ren's Affirmations. This is a really good time to affirm with your children that they are just as good as anybody else, no matter what kind of money they got, because God lives in them just like God lives in everybody else. So go get the book. All right, so this week I have a really great guest here because it's like the perfect time to learn how to restore yourself through self-love and movement. My guest is Tila Allen, and she does trauma-informed outreach yoga. I know you're probably like, what? Trauma? Yes, because the trauma, we hold our traumas in our body. So Tila is here to help us with the trauma that we may be feeling throughout these, quarantines and kids being at home and not being able to go to work and not being able to find toilet paper. So this is the perfect time to have Tila Allen here. Let me just let y'all know, she's just not somebody that does yoga. Tila has a BA in psychology from Creighton University. She also has a master in clinical psychology with a specialization in marriage and family therapy from the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. Y'all know I try to bring people on here that speak to me, but that also I know that they have knowledge that you need to hear. So welcome, Tila.
Hi, greetings, grand risings, wherever you are on this region. Thank you so much, Raquel, for having me this rising. Again, my name is Tila Allen, and I am the founder of RAIN in Us. The acronym US stands for Understanding Self, and the word RAIN is not like the rain that comes from the sky, but it's REIGN as in rule. And so RAIN in Us is created for us to pretty much rule over our well-being, our body, our temple, which includes the mind, the body, and the soul. Also, I provide wellness, holistic services through a trauma-informed approach. And you're probably thinking, what does that mean? So first off, what is trauma? Trauma is anything that overwhelms the nervous system and compromises the internal resources that we use in order to get over that, which means it compromises our self-control, it compromises our inability to maybe connect, and also just having meaning and purpose. And so it'll leave the person unable to process that particular experience, and it will have adverse effects on their functioning, their mental health, their emotional health, their spiritual health, and just their overall well-being.
So in time, wait a minute, let's stop for a second because I'm actually certified in trauma and resilience. So this is right up my alley. So let's just talk a little bit before we go too far, because we need parents. I definitely need parents to understand this. This is why I started doing children's books at Toastmans Publishing. We need parents to understand how easy it is to traumatize your children, and that trauma does not leave. So everybody has been through trauma. I was thinking in my life, I lived a really good life, and I was just like, oh, I'm not traumatized. But then when they started talking, I was like, woo, divorce, trauma. And then, so we always are quick to talk about divorce, but then you have parents who have never been married, and those kids have to go from back and forth, or if they don't even get to have a relationship with their father because of the fighting between the parents, trauma. If parents are married, living together, but don't talk to each other, mean to each other, grunt and don't sit at the dinner, trauma, right? What are some other things? Because we know like what's going on right now, just change can be a lot of trauma. And these kids, they're used to going to school. And now they can't go to school. Some of them not going to be eating 3 meals like they used to, because the parents used to only have to provide dinner. Now they got to provide breakfast and lunch and dinner. And some parents can't afford to do that. So poverty is a huge trauma for people. What else? What else can you think of?
Yes. So the things that you mentioned, I absolutely understand, and it resonates with trying to figure out how do we actively manage stress. So stress and trauma is something that we can't eliminate, but we have to manage it. And so the thing that we're going on in the community, it's called shock trauma, because it's an unexpected, life-changing event that has greatly affected our everyday well-being, our everyday lifestyle. And so that's shock trauma. And some individuals don't understand, wow, this affects me greatly, and it can cause adverse lasting effects such as withdrawal, such as hopelessness, or feelings of sadness or blame and anger. And all of those things can manifest and show up in the body, and can show up as physical ailments such as pain in your shoulders and your neck, diarrhea, stomach pains, infrequent or frequent urination, poor sleeping habits, overeating or undereating. So all of these ailments play a part in those things from this shock trauma. In addition to when you mention dealing with poverty and just ongoing things, those are developmental traumas that continue on an ongoing basis, and we're heavily affected. Another one, as teachers, parents, caregivers, we are heavily affected by vicarious trauma or secondary trauma. Just by being a part of or in the same atmosphere as someone who has been traumatized, we can get that residue from just that emotional engagement or showing empathy or helping. That can be transferred to us. And so in times like this, when we have everyone in one household, all the kids are home, everyone may be either in that state of hyper arousal where you're too anxious and you can't really function, or maybe hypo aroused where it's just numb and depressed. We have to try to find that window of tolerance, which is optimal arousal, where we're able to calm our parasympathetic nervous system and we're able to still function. And so with that said, there are 5 tools that can help build our neocortex. And the neocortex is pretty much the higher functioning part of the brain, which contains the gray matter. And that is where active learning occurs, because it deals with sensory perception, the main things that we need in order to make decisions, to have self-control, our sight, our hearing, our memory, our decisiveness. And so we have to be able to regulate those areas. But trauma has a huge effect on our ability to have our neocortex fully developed. And it can create an imbalance physiologically, biologically, emotionally, spiritually. And so we have to try to come back and balance. And so that's the main thing. And so some of those 5 tools that we can do today, one is meditation.
Yes.
And what is meditation? You know, sometimes it's a taboo behind meditation, but meditation is just really being able to focus on a single point. And it allows us to get outside of the stimuli, outside of the worry, and really into the present moment, into our body to feel the liveliness within. And so
wait, hold on for a second. So, because you said something, and when you talk, I got to stop because I need people to hear what you're saying. You said it could be a taboo associated with meditation. Now, we need to talk about that because in my church, we practice meditation. That's part of our worship service. Yes. Because the Bible says to be still. And that whole part of being still is about meditating, stilling your mind. Yes. So if there are people out there listening, because we have a lot of Christians out there listening, if you feel like meditation is not of God, you're wrong. The Bible tells us to be still. And we're not just, it's physically, it's mentally, it's just to be still. And that's because we have to be able to hear from God. Because we want to just pray, and usually time we pray and we just talking. We're not still to let God hear. So when I always think of prayer and meditation together, because the meditation part is the part of the prayer where you not say anything and you just listen to what God has to say, what Spirit is bringing up in you by you being still. So I just wanted to put that out there for anybody who may think that meditation is not of God. Continue. I'm sorry.
Thank you for clarifying and for bringing that point. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's necessary. Meditation is even more widely used in a lot of rehabilitation centers and therapy and schools because, like you mentioned, it allows us to be still. And what are we not doing on a regular basis? Being still. We're constantly on the go. We're worried about this and caring for this person, and we don't allow our minds to be still so that God can work through us. And so we can see internally what we need to work through too. Another one of those 5 tools that we can use is breath work. Breath work is it's the medicine. It's the most powerful thing we have as human beings. And what do they say for women who are birthing or for individuals who have high blood pressure? Breathe. We got to breathe.
Oh my gosh, Tila, that is so important. It's like I tell people all the time when they start getting stressed out, just breathe. Oh my gosh. So we got meditation, we got breathing. What else we got?
We have asanas, which is pretty much in yoga is movement. It's poses, but you can move your body through dance. You can move your body through anything that allows your body to move, to be able to move that energy and that oxygen fluidly throughout your system. We just got to move, even if that means shaking it out. So the movement is where the yoga comes in. In addition to that is the mindfulness. So mindfulness is essentially just being present and engaging in the present enough to know that there are things going on outside of you, but you're not getting so caught up in that you stay there. And so I'm mindful of what's going on in the world around me with all of the things that are presently here, but I'm going to gently allow those thoughts to just go and be present enough to say, all right, I'm still going to get up in the morning. I'm still going to do what I need to do to focus on my goals. I'm not going to be stagnant because of things that are going on around me. So you're just mindful. Having
you know what? And then with mindfulness, I know it's maybe a little off topic, but I learned when I was working over at the Air Force Base that we need to be more mindful as we eat.
Yes.
Mindful, not just of what we're eating, like reading the labels and stuff, and be mindful of what we're putting inside our body, but being mindful of how our body is reacting to what we eat. Because some people I always use my son with people that are lactose intolerant, but they just love ice cream, but they got to be mindful that their body does not love that, and being mindful when you're doing it. So it just, my body doesn't like that. And even just now when people are sick, I know when I'm just like listening, being still, listening to my body, being mindful how my body is feeling. And I can tell when I'm about to catch a cold, like before it really starts, I can tell it's like a smell. It's really weird. I have like this smell and it's like, something not right. So I start drinking my teas. I start taking a little bit more vitamin C. I'm going to make sure I'm not around people, even though I'm not exhibiting the sneezing and the coughing, but I'm mindful of how my body feels. And it's like, something ain't right. Okay, I'm sorry. You don't keep stopping you, right? Go ahead.
And no, thank you for that. No, that's nutrition is a huge component of just health and wellness. It's not just a condition of the body or just the mind. It's the totality of that. And so, like you said, being mindful to be proactive, right? Yes. To know, okay, my body's talking to me at all the time, but I don't listen, and we don't listen until we're chronically sick or we're to the point where we can't get up and we have to stay home. And so a lot of dis-ease or disease starts in our gut. So gut health is a huge indicator of our overall health, because our gut is connected to our digestive system, our heart health, our spiritual health, all of those things, because of the vagus nerves that's connected to our breath. So that breathing is a huge component, and in our gut. So everything it works together. And so with proper breathing, proper eating, and all of those things, and even to touch on, we have to be mindful of who we surround ourselves with.
Ooh, girl, I don't even want to get into that, because that's a whole 30 minutes by itself.
What we listen to, the surroundings we're in, all of that is nutrition. It can either feed you or it can either harm you. And so thinking outside of just the food and the physical part, mentally and emotionally, spiritually, what are you putting in your vessel to feed your mind and your spirit on a day-to-day basis? And so all of those components make up holistic health. And I think it's important because sometimes everything is separate. We may go to the doctor for just the physical, maybe a pastor for the spiritual, or a psychologist for the emotional, which are all great. Right. But what if you don't have all of these components and pieces happening all at once? So one thing is being neglected. And how are you able to fully heal if all of those things aren't in alignment or aren't being addressed at the same time? And so what trauma-informed yoga does, it unifies the mind, the body, and soul. It talks about all of these different components, from health to emotions to mental health to spirituality, and incorporates it into a physical practice. That way we not only deal with it up here, but we deal with it in here.
You know what, Tila? I was going to tell you, we was going to wait, but I think I'm ready to do some stuff. So I'm going to get down on my yoga mat too. So you start, and then, take us into something.
All right. And so usually how I like to start is just to get centered and grounded. And this can just be 1 minute of getting in a comfortable seated position, whether your legs are in a lotus or the Indian style pose, or if they're just straight out in front of you. Whatever is comfortable for you, I want you to follow your body wherever it is, because this is your body, you know it. In trauma-informed yoga, we always invite personal choice.
You know what? I'm so glad you said that, because I don't like crossing my legs, because I got some really thick thighs, and having them straight out is really just more relaxing for me. So thank you for that.
Yes, do what feels good for you. I'm just the guiding light in this practice, but you are your own professional of your body. So with that said, find the most comfortable seated position. If you'd like, you can open your palms. Open palms just means that you're open to receiving. Sometimes we're always like this. Nothing can come out and nothing can get in. And so in order to release some of maybe the tension that we're feeling and allow abundance to come in, we just have our palms open. Just to get centered, because of the stimuli, something you can even do with children is it's just a countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just to allow you to come into this present moment. So I invite you, if you're open to it, you can close your eyes. If not, you can keep them open. So first, let's take a deep breath in. We got to expand our diaphragm. And then exhaling out. allowing everything to contract. So one part of proper breathing is expanding the belly on the inhale and allowing it to flatten on the exhale. So let's do that one more time. A deep inhale through the nose. Hold it in for a second and exhale, just sigh it out. So once we have that, we're going to think of 5 things that you can hear right now. So just think of 5 things. Still trying to focus in on your breath, whether it's the wind, whether it's sound of music in the background. Think of maybe 5 things you can hear. And this really helps test out our sensory perception skills. Once you hear those 5 things, 4, I want you to think of 4 things that you can actually see. If your eyes are open, it definitely helps. So 4 things you can see around you. Once you have those 4 things, I want you to think of 3 things that you can taste or touch. Just think of those things. A lot of these things are internally because it's bringing you to the present moment. Still focusing and slowing down that breathing as if you've never breathed before, or breathe like you have compassion for yourself. Number 2, think of 2 things that you'd like to give yourself starting today. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Now you think of those 2 things that you'd like to start giving yourself starting today. And the last thing, 1, I want you to think of 1 thing that can allow you to show up for yourself. 1 thing that you do to show up for yourself. Whether it be just making time right now to sit, making time to just do some self-care, 1 thing. Take another deep breath in through your nose. And at this time, I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath out. Starting to focus in internally to those hands. Invert your gaze to your hands. And think about that 1 or those 2 things that you want to start giving yourself today, and allow it to just fall in the palm of your hand. Still focusing on that breath. Notice how it feels in your hand. Start to allow that 1 thing that's in the palm of your hand, start to allow that energy to just start to flow up through your wrists. Still breathing very deeply. It's now starting to come up your forearms, your elbows, all the way up to your arms and into your shoulders. If you like, you can rotate your shoulders. Now it's coming through your clavicle bones. And finally, it's just stopping right in your heart. If you like, you can touch your heart. Bring those hands. This is really good with touch and allowing yourself to feel what it is to hug yourself in this moment. This can help decrease a lot of stress just within yourself. Just placing your hands on your chest and holding it right there. And so that 1 thing that you now reached your heart, allow it to infiltrate your heart, allow it to really permeate through your system, as this 1 thing that you're starting to give yourself more each day is going to be your encouragement, your motivation, your anything you need just to get you up and moving throughout the day. Because you have to take time for self and take time for giving something to yourself. So take another deep breath in. We're going to inhale those arms up. And then exhale, allowing the arms to just fall flat to the ground. All right. On the next inhale, we're going to come and we're going to get into, a tabletop position. So we're going to allow our hands and our knees to come flat onto your mat or wherever you at, making sure that you're hip width apart. Your hands are underneath your shoulders. Everything is about alignment and balance. And from here, this is just a tabletop position. In this position, we'll do a couple of cat-cows. This particular position helps us to open up our heart. It allows us to continue to deeply breathe. And so on the inhale, we're going to inhale and allow our backs to arch up and our chins to move up to the sky. Here, this opens up our heart. You can feel that stretch in your back. On the exhale, we're going to rotate our back up into kind of a cat position. And we're going to do this while we breathe. So it's going to inhale looking like this. And exhale looking like that. Let's do it again. Another deep inhale in. And a long exhale out. One more time, deep inhale in. Long exhale out. From here, we're going to widen our stance, our knees just as far as the mat, and we're going to slowly just have our bottoms come down to our feet. If this is uncomfortable, you can put blankets or bolsters, if you have it, right here to sit on it, so it will take off the pressure from your knees. If this is too much pressure on your knees,
oh, wait. So that, what you just said, I know they're like, she's going to stop it. Yes, because that's important, because that does hurt because I have bad knees. So I should have a pillow, I guess.
Yes.
Right there. And that, I don't think I have a big pillow with me. I wish I had, but that, it makes a lot of sense if I put a pillow.
Yes, you can either
do that. Thank you. That is awesome. If anybody else out there with bad knees, somebody that's 50 like me or older, the knees might not be that great. Okay.
You have a pillow, place it right here, and it eliminates the amount of pressure that goes on your knees. Yeah. Or if you like, you can actually get on top of it this way and do it this way, and or have both, another blanket or pillow right there to just support. So there's a lot of modifications depending on, and usually we'll ask, are there any injuries or anything like that? That way we can make modifications.
Sounds great.
So with that here, we're going to go into our child's pose position, which is our resting pose. It allows us to stretch out our lower back and our arms, and we're just coming straight down, allowing our heart to fall down to our mat. Really feeling that side stretch, opening up that side body. Here, you're finding your breath. So in any yoga class or movement, if some of the poses are a little too much, you can always come back to this child resting pose, just like this. This is a really good pose for just relaxation and helping reduce tension and stress. It allows you to just rest. In those particular poses, you want to find your breath, and you want to notice where you're tense and where you're clenching, and I invite you to just soften. So for instance, if you're kind of tight and you're up here, try to soften and allow gravity to just have its way. And the most important thing is to breathe. As you breathe, you allow those areas to open up, and intentionally breathe life into the areas where you feel are sore or stagnant. And so yeah.
The time. So what I need to know from you.
Okay.
Everybody out there will need to know, how can they reach you? So, do you have videos like this where they can, or do you work with people on Zoom where you could work with them?
Yes. So you can definitely visit my website. I have a Facebook and Instagram as well, at The Reign in Us. That's my Facebook, the REIGNINUS, The Reign in Us. That's my Facebook page. It has a link to my website, which is thereininus.com. Also, my Instagram is reininus777. You can find me there. You can always reach out to me. All my info is on there. I do virtual classes via Zoom. I can do in-person classes if you are here in the area. There's a particular aspect of trauma-informed yoga that I incorporate, which is well-being coaching into yoga, because I understand accountability is hard, and having that accountability partner or coach to have a workbook to go over how you're feeling and where you want to be is a component that I include along with those 5 tools: the asanas, the breath work, the meditation, the mindfulness. So all of those components will make up a trauma-informed yoga session, one-on-one, and in a group setting. We may not have the wellness coaching because it's a group setting, but if you do individual practices, you will get a workbook, a yoga mat, and it will be more of a teaching, a guiding lesson from start to finish based off of the goals that you want to reach mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically.
Okay, you know what? This has been so good. So, because we need to like get ready to end the session, but what I want to do is what the pose that you're in right now, or you said like the child's pose. So if somebody would just have their kids and they just wanted them to just settle down because, you know, they've been at home, they just get antsy and they just need them to settle down, as opposed to maybe putting them in time out. Give me 2 poses that you should maybe do with your kids, and of course the breathing is fine, but what 2 poses, at least 2, should a parent use?
Well, kids, because they're active, I would suggest the happy baby pose with kids. It allows them to be playful, and then, which kind of looks like this, a happy baby pose looks like this to have the kids.
Oh, hold their feet. Okay.
Holding their feet. And then a happy baby pose. And then for children, because they're so active, they like to be challenged. You know, even just a basic downward dog for kids, where they can kind of pedal out their feet, they can shake out everything.
Okay.
And they can allow some of that energy to get out. For them, you have to be very creative. So you can utilize different animals and sounds incorporated in poses, such as, okay, we want you to be a tree today. And so having the kids do a tree pose and allowing their arms to be the branches to extend. And so there's so many ways you can incorporate imagery and incorporate just a fun way of doing different poses when it's connected to shapes and sounds and places and things. You know, we're going to take a trip. We're going to go here. You know, I want you guys to, you know, we seen a camel today in the wilderness. Let's do our camel pose, which would be something like this. So, you know, you have to make it fun for kids.
Right. So I'm going, you know how I am with you, because I just love you. I don't know why. It's like I just clicked to you when we first met.
Yes.
And I'm going to need you to do a webinar or something and spread it, go and put it on my page, the Tribe Called Blessed. Please go and be a part of it. The Tribe Called Blessed Facebook group. Put when you're going to have that webinar, or a YouTube video that you can post so people can get that. Because I am sure there are a lot of mothers out there that need some stuff for their kids, or people that are even babysitting for, you know, people, grandparents. So those poses, they look like simple, and, you know, just the things. Give us a little 15-minute or 10-minute something and let us know. And what, even if I'm thinking I would pay $25 to see that webinar and have my kids do that. Or if you just gave us 10 minutes, a little, you know, wet our whistle on YouTube so we can do it, and then maybe people would reach out to you and pay you more later. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But before we go, I usually end, you know, but today, because I just feel so led, we're just going to take a couple of deep breaths, and then I'm going to say this prayer of protection, and I will put it up. So, and I want parents to really do this prayer of protection with their kids. We only do half of it at my church. That's how we end out our services every week. But I have the entire prayer for protection. So you want to lead us in our 2 breaths, and then I'll do the prayer?
All right. All right. Collectively, let's take a deep breath in through the nose And I want you to sigh it out loud. One more time. Deep breath in through the nose. And a long sigh out.
The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. The mind of God guides me. The life of God flows through me. The laws of God direct me. The power of God abides within me. The joy of God uplifts me. The strength of God renews me. The beauty of God inspires me. Wherever I am, God is. And so it is.
And so it is.
Amen, everybody. And please, please, please check out Tila's website. Again, what is it?
It's theraigninus.com. Remember, it's REIGN, rain. Theraigninus.com.
Yes, we will definitely put that up. If you need spiritual coaching, I am available at www.raqueltolson.com. This is a time that we have to strengthen our spirits. This is a time we have to strengthen our spirits, especially since they're closing up churches. So please, please, please find a way to strengthen your spirit. Until next week, remember what God has done for others, He will do the same thing for you. Be blessed, everybody.